Here's one from the attorney trying to do the same thing. 12:20, right back when this was done.
Whoa. That was a loud car. Once again. Hey, y'all invite some people, please. Hey, y'all go ahead and share this out. I'm gonna wait just a minute. All righty, what y'all doing? I think I'm gonna change my name to Mississippi Queen. Maybe. Would Judy get mad? I don't know. Because I was actually born in Mississippi. Oop, they don't have to dig for that. I just told it.
I'm going to reset this so that it gets the chat as well. Because moving right along.
Whoa. That was a loud car. I'm going to change my name to Mississippi Queen. Maybe. Would Judy get mad? I don't know. Because I was actually born in Mississippi. Oop, they don't have to dig for that. I just told it. That's kind of funny. Hey, Pam. Did you hear that? I was talking about your favorite place where I was born, which is Mississippi. Um, I said I was going to change my scope name to Mississippi Queen because I was just listening to it, but Judy might get mad since I'm not the queen. She's the queen. Okay, I am laughing again. Yes, it is entertainment for sure. Um, there's a lot of crop dust flying around the internet. It's really, really comical because who in the world gets on and talks about how there cannot be an emotional response, there cannot be anything because that would be considered tit for tat on the internet, as he continues to tit for tat all day. I mean, really. That's not a hard concept. And, it doesn't matter if you yell, scream, whatever. If you're talking about and responding, then it is tit for tat, you think? But there are some interesting things. First of all, what I put in this title is a victim statement is proof. That actually was said with meaningful purpose behind it. And the first thing I have to say about that is that completely negates the crop dust that has been flying around for however long he has decided that he wants to use social media as a platform to advocate and fraudulently try to help parents that are suffering from parental alienation. Because, and listen closely, because if a victim statement is proof, first of all, it negates the fact that he is a constitutionalist in every sense of the word, because a victim statement is exactly that, a victim statement. It is completely rebuttable evidence in a court of law, and anybody that believes in the Constitution of our great nation would certainly understand that that is not proof, nor does
When the
it
victim is the person who asks to see proof
say anything
and they lie
about
or they say that
guilt
it didn't happen,
or adjudication
does
in
that mean that
any
person
criminal
filed a false police
proceeding.
report?
Because, see,
Or
in
does
this
it
great
mean,
nation
in
and
fact,
any other
that they're lying?
constitutionalist would certainly understand
That's what draws into
that you
question
get to
the
face your
legitimacy of the
accuser
made
in
by
a court of law, whether that be a victim or anyone else. Whether it be a law enforcement officer that signs a statement against you, no matter who it is. The fact that on a police report it is listed, and as he eloquently highlighted and went over and over and over about how many times the word victim is used, does not mean that the perpetrator is guilty of any accusations on said statement. Now, that is a simple.
So then it begs the question then to whether the person who was the alleged victim made accusations and claims to the police department. Then it would beg the question, if they're now saying that it never happened, it goes to show to the lack of credibility of the person. Because if you're making a false report, especially with the details to which this person goes, to file a victim's statement with all those details and sign it, only to show up in court holding the person who held you hostage, etc's hand, so that the judge makes the bond $350,000. And then you go and you bet $35 for the bond, $35,000 for the bond. So I guess it begs the question is, if the person who went into all these great details with the law enforcement officers, did they maliciously file a report and make these claims about their husband, to have him falsely arrested and falsify a police report and lie to the police, which is pretty damn severe with something like this. Or in fact, is the person lying now to cover up for the abuser? I guess the only one that can answer that would be the person in question, and is not Karen Materna. Again, had zero to do with anything. I mean, these people are out running her, being her flying monkeys, but it is what it is, you know. So let's go back. I want to get some shit done while we're
Simple
listening.
concept for most people to understand. Again, but when you mince words and you try to create something that's not there, it probably creates a problem when there's other people listening that knows a lot more about it than just flinging some crop dust around to try to stir up some things.
Right.
The other interesting thing is that this crop dust needs to go ahead and land and be swept to the side, because he has repeatedly said that he does not get involved in other people's lives.
I don't.
Well, I will pose to the great people on the internet, what is he doing if he is showing victim statements for a crime in another state that he has absolutely nothing to do with? And he
So that begs the question, then what would that mean that an attorney who interjects themselves and contacts the ex-wife of a person in another state that they have nothing to do with, what does that mean for them? There's a difference, in my opinion, in being sent information for a closed case, okay, which again, public knowledge, public record, and involving yourself in someone's life would, for me, constitute the fact that you're actively trying to ruin their life, actively reaching out to people who their exes, interfering with their children, and things of that nature. The things like Karen Pettit Materna has done to me, those are actively putting yourselves involving in somebody's life. Talking about a past case does not do that. And if it does, then I beg the question, then again, does that then prove that she involved herself in my life long before she contacted my ex-wife by going and getting my divorce paperwork, going for the Second District Court of Appeals to get that paperwork in an attempt to harass me? So I guess it can't go both ways. So again, I was asked for some proof that this person ever made claims, and I showed a part of a report that was sent to me that's public, again, public record. It's not sealed. And I showed them. And I begged the question then, does that mean the person lied to police and falsely and maliciously had a man arrested with fake charges, such as they raped and held them at gunpoint and knife point and held them hostage? Did they lie to the police officer and maliciously have a man arrested, or are they covering for that man? But again, these are closed cases. These are not involving in their regular life. So there's that, in my opinion.
he so eloquently says, "Oh, I don't dig, it was sent to me."
True.
Well, doesn't that sound an awful lot like the couple in Pensacola, Oklahoma? I didn't do it. It was sent to me.
She is also attacked.
Okay, well, we already know that he goes on this great platform that he seeks fame on, and he says, "Send me what you got. Send me blah, blah, blah." I mean,
In regards to the person who, the witness statement, I've never said anything to anybody about send me what you've got. Now, the same thing is, these people sent me information based on the fact that the last 2 days, this Tracy Eric has done nothing but come out and run her mouth at me, including today, which I have a bunch of videos recorded from the 20th, which is today. The people who I said if they had information about the things that was going on would be information and proof of what Karen Pettit Materna has in fact been doing to me. And there are a lot of people that she's pissed off that have sent me information. of what she has done. So she's, again, trying to twist this, again, for the I guess, the court of public opinion, which these people's opinions over here, they don't matter to me. However, these people, again, are involving themselves in my real life. So what they're trying to do, again, is try to have me crowd targeted. So interfering, again, with the inner things with my kids, with my contacting my ex-wife, and then working together with my ex-wife and things like that. Those are the things that this woman here is doing, and now trying to somehow justify. And it's not even the exact same thing. When I was asked by a different person to show proof of an assault or whatever the case may be, and I showed part of a victim statement, part of a police report with no identifying information, mind you. Now they've tried to spin that. No matter what you do, whether you show proof, whether you don't show proof, these people are going to do everything they can. So I've decided at this point that I'm not going to show any more proof of anything. I'll get on there. Like I said, I will talk as if I want to. I won't address them directly. I will not go at them. I will not make accusations against them. I will not react emotionally against them. I'm going to put my faith in law enforcement and hope that something can be done from the legal end, because this has to be stopped.
Haven't we heard it many times? It's actually recorded. But yet, he so eloquently tries to state in his monotone, non-emotional, non-antagonistic, because law enforcement told him so, that he does not delve into other people's lives.
Nope.
Well, I'm just going to pose this question right here.
This is Pamela Liggett,
over the
one who
fact
called in
that
with Materna
he
for the
is
false claim of child pornography.
Blatantly ignorant as to what a victim statement is for, and that it is not proof of anything. There has to be an investigation. There has to be things done. And then when a perpetrator or someone that has been accused of a crime
And
is
here's Pamela
adjudicated
Liggett.
in a court of law and is found.
This is Pamela Liggett. She's blocked, and so are all the other people involved in this thing. Yeah, here she is. She's literally will stalk everything that I do, and then will mark down, take notes of everything in an attempt to try to somehow get my ass in trouble and other people in trouble. This is the level of sickness. I get sent these links via private message. If I am able to record them, I do. If I don't, if I can't, then I don't. But this lady here does all these, is somehow like follows everything I do and writes down the times when things are. I mean, it's disturbing. But they do all this for the attorney.
Guilty of said accusations in victim statement, then you can reach out to say that victim statement was proof of guilt. Until then, you can't make that leap. And in doing so, it shows blatant ignorance and a strong need for this crop dust to continue to fly all over us.
Mm-hmm.
But back to his platform and what he does. He advocates for parents who he claims are in the same situation that he is in, with that are suffering from and are dealing with parental alienation. Well, what we know, because he has told it all over the internet, is that he was accused and had protective orders in place against him. So if we were using his logic, and if a victim statement or even an affidavit claiming things had occurred that rise to the level to enter a protective order against this individual, if what he says is true and a victim statement is proof, then lo and behold, he has just called himself and proved to this great little box and everybody on the internet that he abuses women.
Not at all.
Or abused whoever it was that got the protective order against him.
Now, my local law enforcement, if you're watching this right now, you all know the truth about the protection order, etc., and that it was complete bullshit. The person there speaking of was a lady in West Virginia who asked to show proof of the fact that those things were said. So I showed, again, no identification marks, but I showed the victim statement where she said all these things about her husband. Now, what they're trying to do is, again, either she's lying to the police department and file to the point where they filed felonious charges, like felony charges against this man, and then recanted, like she lied, or she's lying now about it happening. See, what happened is these people that had the attack, the lady had the attack, the witnesses were going to go there and to testify to what they knew. And they were told that if they showed up, that this other lady had already said she was going to run them over. She was going to cause them bodily harm or kill them so that they did not testify to what they saw. So that right there is, and I believe there's law enforcement down there looking into that. I'm not positive on that, but that is what has been going on with these people right here. This one here. So just so there's some background information, but see, local law enforcement, you understand the whole thing with the CPO against my ex-wife. But you hear what they're trying to do with this. Okay. So it's not as if my, ex-wife is coming on here or even called the police department to say that I had held her hostage, held a knife to her throat, a gun, or otherwise, or anything of that nature. The CPO was granted essentially because a claim was made that I drove by my old house. That was it. All of the attempts by the ex-wife to continuously falsely have me arrested, as you know, if you are in my local police department watching this, you already know, in fact, that it was complete bullshit. The prosecutor, who is now the criminal judge, talked to the officers as well, knew that it was bullshit. I went to the other judge, to have it removed as his request when he's the prosecutor, and the other judge refused. But there was no contact. But again, you had however many calls were going into my police department that were false. And the charges were never brought against me because of that. These people are doing everything they can to just try to twist anything and everything. And this one here, again, the attorney, is the worst one of all of them. But she sends these little flying monkey people out, and that's what I call them, flying monkeys, to do all of these things, to try to go ahead and start shit. And then she'll come on and she'll run her mouth some more, try to go ahead and get more things started. And they want me to, come out upset. They want me to come out and respond negatively. And have I in the past before? Yes, I did. But as recently, no. Nor will I, because now that I have the information to law enforcement, as well as collecting new information and more information that I get, I'm not messing with these people anymore. It's gone past the level of back and forth on the internet stuff to where this one here, this attorney, has reached into my real life, contacted my ex-wife, is working with my ex-wife, and making threats on like my disability and things like that, trying to affect my real life for nothing more than the fact that this one here doesn't like me, and I refuse to back down away from her. I will not let her run all over me, and I'm going legally to do everything I can to prevent this from going on myself, because she's done this to other people. So this is what this lady does. But again, my local police department, she mentions the CPO. You all know the story behind the CPO. But again, she's working with my ex-wife. So let's take all of that also into consideration.
So we can do one or two things. We can either go with his logic and say, what is he trying to hide? Or is he just so dumb that he's trying to cover his own hurt butt? So he's reaching, and he's just ignorant. And he made that statement because he likes to delve into other people's business.
No.
And so when he dwelled into business of other people and decided to put it on the internet, he has to cover his butt somehow. You think?
No.
As out of one side of his mouth, he says,
the comment section sometimes will freeze up.
that was a loud car. What we know, because he has told it all over the internet, is that he was accused and had protective orders in place against him. So if we were using his logic, and if a victim statement or even an affidavit claiming things had occurred that rise to the level to enter a protective order against this individual, if what he says is true and a victim statement is proof, then lo and behold, he has just called himself and proved to this great little box and everybody on the internet that he abuses women, or abused whoever it was that got the protective order against him. So we can do one or two things. We can either go with his logic and say, what is he trying to hide? Or is he just so dumb that he's trying to cover his own hurt butt? So he's reaching, and he's just ignorant. And he made that statement because he likes to delve into other people's business. And so when he dwelled into business of other people and decided to put it on the internet, he has to cover his butt somehow. You think? As out of one side of his mouth, he says, I would never get into someone else's court case. I would never reach out into someone's personal life. Have we all heard that? Give me some hearts if we have heard that from this.
Well, this is no court case nor somebody's personal life.
Little
I'm not contacting relatives.
Crop duster.
I supplied proof that I was asked for.
Well,
by the individual, mind you.
And you can put it in the comments. What is he doing when he gets involved with a police report, a victim statement, puts it online for the world to see, and he was not involved at all in this person's life, ever?
But the person asked to see it.
Now, would that be putting yourself and involving yourself in someone else's personal life and inserting yourself into a court proceeding or one that has already finished? Doesn't really matter. But in any event, he is doing exactly what he accuses others of doing.
No, I haven't researched anybody's anything.
Now back to the parental alienation thing. You know, you have to be really something kind of special when you go out and you advocate for something that is so real, that is really real and is an issue. That there are some people that, for whatever reason, can't live or exist with the father or mother of their children, and they proceed to try to alienate the other parent. But what is so sick and fraudulent about this particular advocate is he only does it so that he can convince himself that that is what has happened to him. When in fact, it has not happened to him at all. And if you go by his logic of a victim statement is proof.
Well, since the court decided that they're ordering the counseling sessions, I would say it's pretty obvious that it has in fact happened. But then again, you see with her working with my ex-wife, pushing out these narratives. So now we're going on here again. This is again what they're doing.
That means that anyone, if it ever happened, that got a protective order against him, when they signed that statement to the police and to the judicial system, that is proof that he abuses the person that is signing the statement.
See how she's trying to twist it? That's not at all what I said.
So two things. He goes and inserts himself into someone else's life on the internet, doesn't know this person, never met this person, never done anything with this person.
Like she did my ex-wife.
And
or me.
By the way, except I think, he probably took up for her when he was saying that the Turners were full of shit. But then now he wants to blast her a police report from a county and a jurisdiction that he has no involvement in whatsoever, and give his 2 cents that basically, if you believe what he says, means that anybody that has ever signed anything against him.
Now let me remind people here the fact that this woman right here who is saying all this, right, in an attempt to to get me to react, in an attempt to have me crowd targeted, and like I said, what she's been doing. This woman has done all of those things to me for years. In fact, the chat between the account Avery Lee and Karen Pettit Materna shows right on there, okay, that she's done this, what she's claiming that is I'm supposedly doing here against me. The difference is this right here, this attorney, Karen Pettit Materna out of Alabama, actively searched my information to attack me with it and to have others attack me with it. Today, the other individual, Tracy Eric, has made 12 videos today regarding me, running her mouth, trying to get me upset, trying to get me to trigger, my name in the sections and everything, okay? Said something about showing proof that she ever said this or that or the other. So I showed proof with a victim statement where she said those things. Again, no personal information exposed at all because it is a domestic violence. I did not want to show him the personal thing. So now, this one here, again, the other lady tried to come out for this one to provoke a reaction, which they didn't get. Asked for proof that she ever said those things. I showed the victim statement, again, with no identifying information. And then all of a sudden they want to switch it around. This attorney has actively searched out my divorce paperwork, my Second District Court of Appeals paperwork, has contacted my ex-wife, etc. She has actively involved herself in my life. She has actively searched for information regarding me. I have never searched for information on anyone, ever, let alone their personal life stuff. You see, however, there are people who were the witnesses to the victim's statement and what happened. They're listed as witnesses in the case. They had the information, and knowing that Miss Eric has been all day yelling and doing everything she can to try to provoke me, sent me the information that Miss Eric requested, the proof that she ever said those things. So that's what I showed. And now this one here is, and the rest of them are all going to spend all night twisting these things up. So again, this one, Karen Pettit Materna, actively searched out my court paperwork, the CPOs, my criminal background, if there was one. She actively was seeking out all of that information to harass me because she didn't like me. I never asked her for anything, ever. She actively did that. She contacted my ex-wife and involved herself in multiple other ways, including threatening my disability, etc. I showed proof that was sent to me that was requested by the person I showed the proof to. Do you see what I'm saying when you talk about spinning these things? That's why I said from that point on, any of the proof that people are asking for, I owe them nothing. I'm showing them nothing. I'm not going to get into a back and forth with these people. I'm just not doing it. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Saying that he does these horrific things to women or a woman or a family.
Again, I want to reset the comments.
To blast her a police report from a county and a jurisdiction that he has no involvement in whatsoever, and give his 2 cents that basically, if you believe what he says, means that anybody that has ever signed anything against him saying that he does these horrific things to women or a woman or a family member or someone else that rises to the level that a court decides to enter a protective order, I think he calls it a CPO, then that must be proof that he did those things. How do you get that both ways? How is it proof for some and not proof for others? Well, I'm here to set the record straight, and that is that a victim statement or any statement made that accuses another person of any crime or anything else, even in a civil matter, is not proof
Then
of
it
anything.
shows that the person lied.
It is just what it says, a statement. Wherein law enforcement or our judicial system takes that statement and they decide what they are going to do with it. If there are going to be charges, if there are not going to be charges, and even once there are charges made, and a great constitutionalist of this great nation should understand this, once charges are brought, even if a bond is set, no matter how high the bond is, it doesn't make it proof. So I'm a little confused at why there's all this crop dust of all this ignorance flying around on the internet, and all this hypocrisy, and how, oh, the other thing, let me say this, because it's just so easy to listen.
Now, none of these things today had anything to do with this lady, other than the fact the other people are coming out for
you
her.
completely negate everything you stand for and everything you say. Because let's remember, crop dust flies around all over the internet and can sit behind a computer and play keyboard. I'm going to try to destroy others' lives and insert myself into other people's business. And then he does so on the premise that he cannot work, as he says, because of all his back problems, spine surgeries, all these other health issues. Well, you know, I'm not one to mince words, but when crop dust likes to say, do what you got to do, but one thing I will say is I am not sickly. And if somebody is going to say they're going to come beat my ass or whatever it is that he thinks occurred, then all of a sudden he's not a sickly person.
What?
So really, which one is it? Does he need to be on disability? And I'm just saying, you put your business out online, things like that, then every single person listening then gets to decide for themselves. Is he really a fraud? And is he really committing disability fraud? Because he said he's not a sickly person. And he's this much, this big, this, and, he's saying he can fight. I think that's what he's saying.
But did I say
that? He says he's not sickly.
No, I did not.
Well, if you can fight,
see,
then how does your back? Okay, we know this for a fact. Let's think about this. He can fight. He's this tall. He weighs this much. He said it. He admitted he's a fat ass. Okay, he said it. And then he proceeds to want his public on the internet to believe that he can fight someone. And he's done this on numerous occasions. We have heard, I think it was Matt, that he wanted to fight, and whatever. He just wants to fight. He'll fight. Well, a man on disability for his back that's so severe that he has to get disability, and we know that he also can sit for hours on the computer. I mean, literal hours. And never once says, "Oh, my back, I got to take a break. Oh, my back, I got to get up."
Or do other shit like
something to that effect. But yet, he gets disability money every month for that. So what is the truth? What is the truth?
So now she's going to try to have crowd targeting.
It's a lot of crop fairy dust floating around in the air on the internet. That fairy dust is like, crop dust is kind of a manly thing. I'd say it was more like fairy dust because it's not really even reality. So let's just say fairy dust. I think everybody will get the point. The fairy dust is getting very, very thick because somebody is trying to cover their little chapped butt. Because there are some people on the internet that just don't believe a word he says and just don't believe that he's sincere. And how can you advocate and hold yourself out to be a constitutionalist when you sincerely think that a victim statement is proof? I think he's drank the Turner Kool-Aid. I think he actually is their voice. And if you look, he is actually going after the same individuals that the Turners were. But no. He doesn't insert himself into other people's lives. But showing a victim statement of a possible domestic violence incident, we don't know. Nobody was there. And unless he's talked to law enforcement and the prosecutor's office, then how in the world would he know that happened? Oh, I know. Wait. He goes by screenshots. Huh. Well, what a hell of a note if we could convict people of crimes in this country based off of a screenshot. I think somebody needs to go back and study the basics of their Constitution and this little thing called due process and how it actually works. But, it just is whatever his little fairy dust self needs to fit his narrative for the day. And that's okay because we're used to it. We are so used to it. It's just what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me look at the comments and see what y'all have. Yes, he wanted to fight the same person he has now gotten information from to delve into someone else's life and continue their fight against, while their little happy butts have been told to shut the fuck up. Isn't that ironic?
Well, that person
but, you know,
decides they
he's not
want
an agitator.
to make 12
And
videos
he
in a
doesn't
day.
he doesn't
Think they're a
antagonize
victim of video.
anyone. He's just out here on this nice little internet doing his own little thing and not being emotional. Well, the other thing I want to bring to everyone's attention is the fact that he says everything he has ever said is public. Okay, well, that is just what we call, well, there's nothing else for us to call it except a lie. That is a lie, because why would I have
My other account that had more of my
all the
videos was taken
videos
by
from
these
his
people.
buddy
It was
NJ,
disabled.
all the videos of him
That's why.
that he put on his YouTube when he was attacking the Turners? Because I looked before I came on here just to make sure I wasn't misspeaking about the subject, and those words and his commentary on all of that are no longer seen. And the other thing, all those awful, horrible videos that he has made about everyone, you know, and he says to try to cover his little butt, he says that sometimes you have to go out on the internet and antagonize folks to get them to admit the truth, or to tell on themselves and admit to things that they would never ever admit to. Well, that would be an antagonizer. And the other thing is, I think that all of us over right here
Do you see how this lady
are
tries to spin
intelligent
everything?
enough to know that we don't say anything that we don't want anyone to know on a public social media platform.
I'm sure that you do.
I think that would be only him that is that stupid. And he has done it many, many, many times. And so right now,
How do I have the videos of them saying all these things that they haven't done?
Fairy dust creator that is saying everything he has ever said is public and it is there to see. Well, no, it's not. That is a lie. Because all of the videos he has done, oh, that awful video about Miss Pam, with him screaming and getting so excited over a terrible, awful scene in a movie. He got so excited and so into it that it has really been deemed probably the biggest psychological break ever seen on social media.
I'm glad they think so.
And that's not anywhere to be found by him. But guess what? It is on the internet, but I guess he'd have to find it now, wouldn't
Because my
he can't
account
hide
was again
it.
taken from these people reporting.
So, you know, it would be something if the fairy dust kind of settled and this man would kind of enter reality and understand that what he says every time he hits this is pretty much a contradiction to what he has said numerous times before. Numerous times before. And the biggest one is, I would never reach into someone's personal life. Oh my God, if that happens to me, it's happened to him, he claims, while he's out there doing it to other people. And I would suggest that the fairy dust needs to create some more fairy dust out of his ass.
Okay. So I'm not digging in anybody's personal lives at all. This one has admitted to contacting my ex-wife. I have shown proof that she has stalked my 15-year-old daughter's Facebook page. screenshotted photos of my child, my minor child, along with some of the comments, and put them into a chat. And you see now, because I've exposed this lady for what she's done and shown people what she's done, suddenly now she comes out with the exact same thing in an attempt to have me crowd targeted. This is what she's been doing. And they've kicked it up ever since that point where I found that information where she was, in fact, went and stalked my minor child's Facebook page. Again, she's had no interactions with my child or my ex-wife or me for that matter, except for online. And she's done all of these things maliciously and intentionally for some unknown psychological reason that she has an issue with me. And she's made different comments as to what she has a problem with when it comes to me, whether it be that I was telling people where to go look in Supreme Court case law and about their rights and educating about their rights and stuff. And then it was supposedly I sent somebody a dick pic, and then it was supposedly something else, and it's something else. There's always some sort of reason, and it's always different, the reasoning behind her obsession with me, and nobody knows the truth. I don't even think she knows the truth. There's literally people who she was, like the Turners, who she used to be working with, you know, who she used the Turners as her mouthpiece. So those people don't even know where the beginning and where this obsession stems from. But they can admit to the fact too, and will gladly speak to police department to the fact of her obsession with me. Nobody has an idea where it comes from. Nobody. But it's always something different with her. She's definitely beyond ridiculous with this. But to reach out to my ex-wife, etc., you know, I don't do things like that. I've never done anything like that. I would never do that. I don't go to people's kids' Facebook pages, period, let alone to find them and take pictures and of the pictures and the comments of children to throw in a chat in an attempt to harass me. She even went so far as to make a Periscope name that, when sounded out, sounded like my daughter's name. That is what this sick bitch has done, amongst a myriad of other things. And she comes on here and she tries to twist things and spin things and do all these other different things like this to then have this video shown to other people in these groups to have me crowd target. Because she wants to destroy my life for whatever reason, which is why she's gone and searched for my divorce records, went and searched for the Second District Court of Appeals for my appeal, my case appeal. She's reached in there trying to find, I mean, the comment section or the chat section in the Avery Lee thing alone, she point blank says that if we can't find his divorce paperwork, we have nothing. She was actively searching, trying to destroy my life for no reason other than she doesn't like me from the internet. And these are the levels that she's gone to. And these are the kind of videos that she'll come out and do to try to convince other people of things to go ahead and have me targeted, which are complete bullshit. The only way she's going to stop, because she's done this to other people. She still does this to other people. The only way it's going to stop is to legally make it stop. And whatever that takes is whatever that takes. Be it lawsuit, be it hopefully police charges for this fucking internet stalking and harassment shit, all of it. Because here we are today. Her name was never mentioned at all, but yet she comes in here again, inserting herself into things because it was her flying little monkeys that she sent out to cause problems. And when I didn't respond the way they wanted me to respond, then she comes on and does stuff like this. And they'll be doing it all night. I'm listening to this, I'm doing other shit. This is how I record these videos. But this is the things they do. This is what I've been dealing with for months. Well, longer than months, over years with this lady. But it's got increasingly worse since August, when the Turners no longer wanted to be her mouthpiece and we agreed to be grown-ups and stop the back and forth bullshit and fighting with each other. These people got mad because they were no longer going to be able to be used to attack me. And people who I used to be cool with got mad because I was no longer going to go back and forth with the Turners. So the people who like Materna and Pam Liggett, who used to be friends with the Turners, got mad because they weren't going to attack me anymore. And then people who I was friends with got mad because I wasn't going to go back at the Turners anymore. So those people all joined forces. Karen Materna went over there, lied to them, said there was some big conspiracy, which she later admitted there was no conspiracy. But got all these people in his big-ass tizzy to start attacking myself and the Turners, and with a bunch more lies. And then it's been like this ever since. And, like, I've left. I didn't say anything on here for a month. And this one here, Karen Materna and Pam Liggett, the two that called for the false police report especially, would not stop running their mouth, making accusations about me, etc. These same people, this one here, Karen Materna, the attorney out of Alabama, made 13 videos over the night from August the 8th to August the 9th. We agreed to a 24-hour, basically let everybody else that wants to be done with this stuff the opportunity to do so, so nobody said they were attacked or nobody was attacking them. Okay? So we allowed 24 hours. It was from 10 o'clock Eastern on the 8th to 10 o'clock Eastern on the 9th. So that anybody else who wanted to be done had an opportunity to say they weren't attacking anybody and nobody's attacking them and they could be done too. This lady right here made 13 videos in that time span. Just talking all kinds of shit because we agreed to stop fighting. Karen Materna did that. This one here, Pamela Liggett, made a 7-hour and 40-some minute video that same night about it. These people are deranged. Absolutely insane.
And show some proof about anyone reaching into his personal life.
I'm going to refresh you because I paused and there's a good chance that
That was a loud car.
So I'm going to have to do this, and I hate when I do it because I don't know exactly where it was at, but I have to wait for a comment to pop or something to pop up, and then I can go to it. This is why I pop back over and like watch this every now and again. Come on.
Thing called due process and how it actually
I'm sorry
works.
there's get the repeat of this stuff.
But, you know, it just is whatever his little fairy dust self needs to fit his narrative for the day. And that's okay because we're used to it. We are so used to it. It's just what he does. Okay, let me look at the comments and see what y'all have. Yes, he wanted to fight the same person he has now gotten information from to delve into someone else's life today, and continue their fight against.
Pamela Liggett,
while their little happy butts have been told to shut the fuck
always
up.
like the same, pretty much the same.
Isn't that ironic? But you know, he's not an agitator.
There's a few others,
and he doesn't antagonize anyone. He's just out here on this nice little internet doing his own little thing and not being emotional. Well, the other thing I want to bring to everyone's attention is the fact that he says everything he has ever said is public. Okay, well, that is just what we call, well, there's nothing else for us to call it except a lie. That is a lie, because why would I have all the videos from his buddy NJ, all the videos of him that he put on his YouTube when he was attacking the Turners?
Well, now I was attacking the Turners.
I looked before I came on here just to make sure I wasn't misspeaking about the subject, and those words and his commentary on all of that are no longer seen. And the other thing, all those awful, horrible videos that he has made about everyone, you know, and he says to try to cover his little butt, he says that sometimes you have to go out on the internet and antagonize folks to get them to admit the truth, or to tell on themselves and admit to things that they would never ever admit to. Well, that would be an antagonizer. And the other thing is, I think that all of us over right here are
Never
intelligent
said
enough
it.
to know that we don't say anything that we don't want anyone to know on a public social media platform. I think that would be only him that is that stupid.
Yet they
And
hide
he has
every
done
video
it
they do.
many, many, many times. And so right now, the fairy dust creator that is saying everything he has ever said is public and it is there to see. Well, no, it's not. That is a lie. Because all of the videos he has done. Oh, that awful video about
Again, they got my account removed.
About Miss Pam, with him screaming and getting so excited over a terrible, awful scene in a movie. He got so excited and so into it that it has really been deemed probably the biggest psychological break ever seen on social media. And that's not anywhere to be found by him. But guess what? It is on the internet, but I guess he'd have to find it now, wouldn't he? He can't hide it. So, it would be something if the fairy dust kind of settled and this man would kind of enter reality and understand that what he says every time he hits this is pretty much a contradiction to what he has said numerous times before. Numerous times before. And the biggest one is I would never reach into someone's personal life. Oh my God, if that happens to me, it's happened to him, he claims, while he's out there doing it to other people. And I would suggest that the fairy dust needs to create some more fairy dust out of his ass.
She admitted doing
and show some proof about anyone reaching into his personal life and doing anything to him. Because, see, all of that is a lie, too.
Now, I know for a fact my local law enforcement has video proof, audio proof of this woman and others admitting the fact that she has contacted my ex-wife. So there's no question about that. But you see, here we go again, her now trying to lie about that, because see what they do is they've made these videos and then hidden those videos. Okay, they hide the videos. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and flip this to the. Well, like I said, what they do is they'll make the videos, they hide them. And you say, "Oh, it never happened." My local law enforcement absolutely
that
has.
The fairy dust needs to create some more fairy dust out of his ass and show some proof about anyone reaching into his personal life and doing anything to him. Because, see, all of that is a lie, too. And he says it to make himself seem important.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see some more proof, too. Since we're talking about proof, victim statements are proof, he says. I would like to see the proof that he actually has introduced someone of the opposite sex to his wonderful children. Because from what he said in his own words, and that is the only reason I know, is that he has to see his daughter in therapy. So I'm just wondering, and I'd like to see some proof, if he did that at therapy. Did he take this wonderful woman that had no idea who she was getting involved with to a therapy session with his own daughter that is there because he is a lunatic? Now, that's what he wants the people on the internet to believe.
You see what she's doing?
But you have to always remember what he has said previously. It's just an amazing thing. It just is. It is absolutely an amazing.
Do you see what she does? This is what
And then the fairy dust. I mean, my gosh, the fairy dust has been blowing around for what? I mean, he is on it 24/7, and he says, I'm not going to respond. I will not respond, because then they have a defense. Okay, only in his mind does somebody need a defense to his antagonistic, ridiculous social media bullying nonsense. Because you see, the reason he does it is because he has no one in his life that he can reach out and punch in the face. So he takes that opportunity on the box.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad
And
they
we
think
have
I don't
seen
have
it.
anybody, so they don't
He
try to
does
attack
it.
them too.
Just like that video he did about Miss Pam, you know.
I keep my
Like I said, that was the biggest psychological break ever seen on the internet. The second largest one, and this is all over, I mean, completely across the board on the internet, I think y'all will agree. We saw the second biggest psychological break when the fairy dust would not settle and was in front of that computer for days, while he was claiming he has a real life. Now, how can one claim they have a real life when their time is documented and time stamped on this box?
Mm-hmm.
And on YouTube? And it would be on Facebook if he didn't get banned nonstop.
That's the great thing about having.
I think Miss
recording
Judy
things
was
from the
correct
laptop.
in that the liquor store has.
The great thing about having things recorded from the laptop, as opposed, because I can go and do other things while this is going on. I can comment when I need to comment, to point something out, and I do it my time when I have some free time. So that's the great thing about not having my phone and having to sit here the entire time.
A zero proof crop dust vodka. It's zero proof, none. And I would also like for him to prove to the great people on the internet that he tries to impress with his unfounded knowledge in every realm of whatever he speaks upon. I would like for him to prove that a police department received evidence from him, what he claims is evidence, on a hard drive or on a thumb drive. He should be able to prove that. And in fact, you would think that police department would have that logged in somewhere when somebody drops off a thumb drive of evidence on a big old crime that he is accusing the person that he stalks nonstop, that would be me, of doing. You would think they would have that logged in somewhere, wouldn't you? I'm just thinking. But maybe nobody else knows what they're talking about. Maybe he actually believes what he thinks up in his head. So, what else y'all got going on? Yes, he wanted to fight Justin. I'm going to look at this. Yes, he did. That would have been something. Squeal, piglet, squeal. I call it, yeah, and other people, and he has no idea who has seen that video.
I don't care.
And said, oh my goodness, that man is a lunatic. And they wouldn't ask. Everybody that has seen it, not one person has said, oh my goodness, what did that woman do to him? Nobody has asked that. Isn't that odd?
I'm sure you have a narrative on there.
Of the thousands of people that have seen that video, I bet he can't find out where it is. Of the thousands of people that have seen that video, not one person has said, what in the world did that woman do to him?
Because I'm sure
Because,
there's a
that's
narrative
his
spun with the whole thing
defense.
too.
His defense is that he can do and say whatever he wants if someone mentions his name or someone doesn't speak the way he thinks they should speak about him.
Nope. First Amendment, right?
I'm just glad. I want to know if he's actually disabled or if he can fight. I wonder which one that is. I don't know, but what the one thing about it, when you're a liar and fraud go together, because you have to be a liar to be a fraud. There's all kinds of fraud. There's disability fraud. There's fraud on the internet. There's fraud lots of places. And the one common denominator amongst these people that stick together on the internet is the word fraud and the word lies.
So that means I guess they're frauds and liars.
And oh my goodness, let me say this too. If somebody knows, y'all go get that Mr. Crazy Horse fella, because I'd love to talk to him. Somebody can give him my number and he can call me if he doesn't want to come public, because I have some questions. And again, when you speak on a public forum, on a public social media platform, you can't expect people not to have questions when you talk.
And that gentleman's a veteran.
And be able
too.
to ask questions or speak about what you say.
That gentleman is a Vietnam veteran.
My question would be, exactly what county was that in Texas, where a law enforcement officer
And if these
in
people
Texas
are blocked, again, this proves the fact I have them
24
blocked, and yet they
months
still stalk my
for
stuff.
cyber stalking him. Where exactly was that? I would like for him to let us know that. Where was that? That would be something that would be really relevant.
Seek out my stuff. That's what's ridiculous.
And that person is on, don't forget, it's a female, and that person is on the back end of their sentence, he said. And see, I don't even write this stuff down, and I just remember it.
I'm sure.
See how that works?
I'm sure.
What, Pam, especially since who provided him with the thumb drive? Oh, and remember, because I already called out that other lie when he said, I turned in all these chats, and then he turns right around and says, as soon as I go through the other one, which he had just said minutes before in the same video that he turned in, and I would just like to know exactly where he turned that in, because you would think that they would have a record of that. Just ask him. I'm sure he can show it on the internet. Hey, Pam. Yeah, the Turner, who provided him with the thumb drive? Hold on, I gotta close this so I can hear. Hello, Pam, I'm waiting for you to tell me. And, I think everybody should hush and let's just keep it between us about where all these videos are playing. I think so. But what I will say is that it is not. It is way more than 30 people. It just is. And like I said, not one person, not one person said, what did that woman do to him to make him attack her that way?
There's a narrative put with that. Of course there is.
And I would like to know why he lied and said that everything that he has said remains public. It doesn't, but thank goodness that we had the wherewithal to make sure we collected it all before he decided to put it down.
So again, my other account that I had, they reported until it was removed because they didn't like the fact that I was exposing these people for what they've done. So they did everything they could. They reported my other account to have it removed. And I like here how they say they had the wherewithal to record everything, et cetera, they claim. But yet, when I said I have had, obviously, recording all the things that these people are doing as well, suddenly I'm a stalker. This is what they do. They try to spin, again, this entire shit into a fucking story for them. And it's just ridiculous.
And hide it as he creates his defense for loving on the Turners and doing exactly what I said was his purpose for doing everything that he has done, which is documented in his own words since August and to other people. Lots of other people.
Yeah, just like
How about that?
Like I said, just like the things they've been doing.
Time he said to one of our good friends that he was going to make this truce, and he didn't say it was just to have peace. What he said was, and I want you to help me and lie to crowd target Karen Materna and say these things about the person in New Jersey and how she was all involved with that, and lie and do that.
Never said that either.
Yeah, we forget that.
Never once did I say that.
Fairy dust has been, completely floundering around in the internet space. And he can only hope that somebody takes a dust cloth and just goes and wipes it all clean, but that doesn't happen in the internet world. Does it? So those are my things. My things are, how is someone that gets a disability check? Now he will say it's not true disability.
So
that,
here they are.
And this is what he put this out to
Here
the
they are.
public.
Now going to target my disability.
Social Security, and he paid in, and it is his insurance. Well, it still has to be approved, and if he can fight and is not a sickly person, like he said over and over, then why does he get that money for free without doing anything but saying?
And because I'm not
he's
sickly,
hurt,
that means
and his
that my
back
mind's not
is messed
used.
up. But then he can
See, there's
say
things
he's
now.
not a sickly person. It's just food for thought.
Pathetic. This is what I've had to deal with for years, but especially since August.
It's just some food for thought. And then he does not go into anyone else's personal lives. Well,
No.
When people have conversations with other adults that have nothing to do with what he is accusing it to be, but yet he can go out and get, because people send them to him,
So what that was right there is she's now attempting to somehow justify that she called my ex-wife. And now she never had any contact with the ex-wife, no reason to. She's never had anything other than internet communication or interactions with me. She had no reason to go to our daughter's page and stalk the page, take screenshots of pictures of a minor, and also the comments of a minor on these posts. And yet she's done. Now what she's right here trying to do is she's trying to justify the things that she's done. The two adults just have conversations. You see, my ex-wife did not reach out to Karen Pettit Materna. Karen Pettit Materna reached out to my ex-wife, as she already admitted. So a woman who's crazy from the internet, who has stalked and harassed me for years, reaches out to my ex-wife, and she's now trying to justify.
Police reports about something that had absolutely nothing to do with him whatsoever, and think that it is his business to put his 2 cents worth and that police report, that victim statement, all over the internet.
Somebody asked for proof of what they said, and I showed them what they said. It's very simple.
As he is saying,
I gave
please
them
don't
what
tit
they
for
asked
tat.
me to show
That's
them.
what law enforcement will tell you. but I'm going to do this. And as long as I don't become emotional again and have a psychological break like I did and have on several occasions, then I can do this and nobody will notice.
They had me mad enough to
That's
the
how
point where I
ignorant he is.
cried, like in anger. I was so mad that I actually like was crying, that I was so mad. They've had me that way once. To which I went ahead and I stopped. I walked away from everything. Okay, to get myself calm, because they had done so much all at one time, and it was overwhelming. And yeah, they had me mad enough once in order to have me crying. Other than that, nothing. And they know it. But then again, see, this is what they try to do. They try to go ahead and talk about all these different things. Again, it's to try to go ahead and get some kind of a response, and I'm not going to give it to them.
Yes, it is. Oh, life. So how are y'all? Give me your 2 cents. I would like your 2 cents. There's mine. There's mine. Hello. I see no comments. Does anybody want to come on and say something? Listen to those dump trucks.
Even the people on her video know that she's full of shit. They don't want to say anything else. Knowing everything she's done and now trying to say she didn't and twist it. Even the people in her own video don't have any.
Pam, you didn't answer me. I don't know who gave him the thumb drive. Oh, and the other thing he did, and he told on himself, oh Lord, the fairy dust was just flying around. He couldn't help it. He said he said he can't record on his phone. Well, we know because he shares it, and he lied and said that everything remains public, but he shares it all at one time or another, and he can't record from his phone. So my other question is, if this person has a real life instead of a fairy dust life, then how in the world, if he's not using his phone, would he be able to record literally hours and hours and hours and hours?
Because I can record and walk away.
For months.
Crazy.
Of videos. That would mean that he sits in that chair that long. So anybody with some common sense would be able to, understand that there is no life outside of him sitting in that chair and that computer. Because if you can't use your phone to record, then, how in the world?
To record, you still have to record a screen. You have to sit in front of it.
That must be why he gets so angry when I speak at his 3 hours a week that he leaves the computer to go to his son's football game and gets so angry that he's missing something.
No, I got angry when this woman called me a pedophile. And
I figured it out. He has to stay up all night long. All night long and all day long. He's got to be so tired.
Piss off anybody's mind.
Because Miss Judy, she works and she works hard. So she chooses to speak and give her opinions in the early morning. Well, he gets mad if he can't record it.
Nope.
And she doesn't leave it up. He gets real.
In fact, she's already said because at the same time every day, I don't bother to go look
because they are cowards.
Okay. I don't bother to go look. I get things sent to me, but they claim that I'm up supposedly for 24, 36, 72 hours, whatever it is. And yet this Judy says she does this every single day at a certain time, to which I never see it. if I was up all the time or I was stalking their stuff like that all the time as they claim, then I would see it. And when they say things on there, if they want to hide the things, to me, it's just what they're trying to do is they're trying to antagonize the response. And if it was something important that they were going to put up, then they would leave it up. They think it makes me upset. It doesn't matter. It makes them exactly what I've said. It makes them look like retarded chimps throwing shit at the wall, hoping something sticks. They're trying to evoke a response and they don't get it. And then they get like this.
Well, no, we're not cowards. We just like for you to stay up for 24 hours in a row and then 48 and then 72 because it shows exactly how insane he is. Would everybody agree? See, it's not
You see
rocket
how she
science.
contradicts herself right there with just that? Pretty sad. Pretty fucking sad. Sun fading. Shit. Again, this is what they do. She just contradicts.
All right, does anybody want to come on?
No, Karen, nobody wants to come on and talk to you and listen to your bullshit and lies anymore.
Because I am sure that he will be so set off, but will come on and make sure he makes the statement because it changes things, he thinks. That he's not antagonizing anyone as he blows his fairy dust out of his ass all over the internet. And he will use a monotone voice and speak
Mind you, this is an attorney
in circles, trying to convince himself that he should not go tit for tat. And it's quite comical. So you see, when the fairy dust starts to blow out of his diaper rash ass from sitting in the chair for so long, we laugh. And we have done things, I have at least, like change my name on my Facebook page just so he tells on himself some more about his obsessions and his reasons and why he wants to lie on the internet nonstop. And now he is the voice for the Turners, attacking, as he says. He actually called himself today or yesterday, I don't remember because I haven't been able to keep up, but he called himself and said attacking. Oh, I don't want to use that word, and he changed it, and he actually spoke out loud while he was doing it. It is very comical and very much entertainment.
Mm-hmm. See?
Although it crosses a level when he does things like he does to Miss Pam and tells lies on the internet.
Now, this same woman was attacking this Pam lady not too long ago. This exact same woman that's over here. So this exact same woman, Karen Pettit Materna, was in fact attacking this Pam lady in the chats, especially, etc., before the August the 8th thing. But now has using Miss Pam, as she calls her, as a mouthpiece. You see, this is what they do. She goes over and she'll find somebody that like, oh, they don't like me, so she's friends with them, and we'll get them all involved in this stuff and run their mouths, etc. And just like she had Miss Pam make the phone call or whatever it was in fact, Karen Materna was on the phone call with them. It's amazing how those things happen. But again, this is what the attorney does. She'll send these people out to try to start problems. I don't respond the way they want me to respond. And they lose their minds. So this is another one.